just because she doesn't necessarily have a man doesn't mean that she doesn't have a village, right? And so I would assume that, like Trev was saying, the financial aspect isn't going to be an issue for her. So she's definitely going to be able to provide the resources for the child. But if she has the village, then she'll also have the support um, that the child would need, inclusive of male, role models and stuff that can be active in a child's life. I also agree with the fact that if that is something that she decided that she wanted but did not have a guy at the time, um, if technology, since technology provides the opportunity for women to have children, and that's something that she wanted, I don't think that it would have been in her interest to be like, well, you know what, I'm not going to have a child because I don't have a man, so I'm gonna just give up the opportunity to have a child when she could. And at some point, I know for me, when I had my child, it leveled me out. I became a different person. So it may be that after she has this child, it may soften her up, and she may begin to attract, um, other guys that would be willing to step up and be a stepdad to that child. That's it.
All right. Go ahead, Ruth.
It's hard not to be excited for somebody to have a child. I'm happy for her that she did it. She wasn't one of those people that, say I'm never having kids, or just because they're like temporarily mad at the opposite sex. So that's the positive. I don't think it's a good idea to raise a child by yourself. It's a totally different ball game when you raise a child by yourself. It is hard. Having a father there is everything, and when people, now that you know how men feel, like having your kid have their own dad is like, you cannot replace gold. So, and even if you have a step parent there, it will never be the same. They will say, that's your child, or if that person, that person has to wholeheartedly want to be that child's father, to the point of adoption or whatever. But it's just, it's not that great to have a kid by yourself. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm glad that she's able to do it. I wish she could have waited. She could have waited till 42, try to get a relationship going, because there's going to be a whole nother side of that kid you don't understand, where he gets it from. Like, now you don't even know some of these women are single moms, but they know the dad. And so they know, this is why you walk like this is why you talk like this is why you act like this. Your dad was like this when he was around. She don't even know that. She just have a sperm donor. So yeah, technology is great, but when we talk about human beings, like, we are not replaceable. So that's how I feel about it.
All right. Go ahead, Jazz.
I was just wondering, because I'm like, when we say about having a dad, like, are we just speaking on the sense of having a male chromosome to birth the child? Because I don't think it's like, she's having sperm to make the child and everything, but it's like, as far as having a dad, there's some people that know their dads and like have dads in their life, and the dads are terrible. Like, just, they're not raising right, they're not present, like, they're not doing things right. Like, I know my dad, but I don't never see him. So it's like, it's just, is it a fact of having us? You're saying she should have a father in the life to help raise that child, or a positive male person in the life to help be a part of that child's life? Because I don't think it's just about being a dad.
Jasmine, real quick question. Currently, right now, if your father, would you say that you would be better off had your father been a great father to you and been present in your life than you are now? Or would you say that you're completely okay with your situation? Hold on, let me rephrase the question. Would you say that if you had the opportunity for your father to be a present, loving, caring person in your life, that you would choose your current situation over that?
I would think, because I was raised by my grandparents and they were married for 50 years, that I don't think it would have been much of a difference if I had him or not, because I didn't have my father in my life. So, but I feel like I came out a well-adjusted person because I was raised by two people. So I get the part of having, two positive role models in your life raising you and stuff like that. But we had a village, like Miss Taken was saying, like we have other people in our lives to help mold me into the person I am. So I think she will be fine as long as she has good people around her.
Well, I
Not
think that's the kind of father we're referencing. A father that's gonna be there like your grandfather was. Not the kind of father that you're speaking of where he's a deadbeat. I don't think anybody on this panel is saying that it's necessary to have a deadbeat father in that child's life. I think we're referencing having a good father like many of the men on this panel are.
mm. And
So
it's great because I feel like most of the men on this panel are great men. There's not a lot of great men out there. There's a lot of men that's just birthing kids and running around. I know a guy that got 6 kids right now. I don't think he know none of them.
And that's a problem too, right? I think we all speak against men being vacant. We talking about she could have been in a situation where just if she could have found a man. I do not believe it was impossible for her to find a man.
Good.
And one of the biggest flexes, I seen this post that said, my biggest flex to my children is this the man I chose to be your father. My biggest flex is this is the man that I chose to. When she was saying when she see her husband with the kids or the father with the kids, she's proud of the decision she made to be the father. She might as well throw a Game Boy at him and be like, yeah, that's your father. I just went technology route. Yeah, you did the PlayStation Pocket.
But just because she had a sperm donor, it doesn't necessarily mean that she did not know who donated the sperm. Because there are people who do sperm donation and they actually know the person that donated the sperm. So, I mean, I don't know if that's her situation or not, but that is also an option as well.
Yeah, but it's more important for the child to know, probably. I mean, or probably not to know. Like, man, what difference does it make? I mean, it ain't like knowing him is a benefit unless you want to know his genetics to make sure he got 40-inch vertical. You probably gonna target somebody like LeBron or some shit. But for the most part, I mean, you got to ask yourself: is it better to have a deadbeat dad in your life or just come from a needle? I mean, I don't even think the kids are classifying the kid. I mean, the father as ain't shit. I think the other parent is mostly doing that. It's not even the kid, really. The kid usually stays in the child's place and is, fine with his father, regardless of how the other parent look at him. So to say that it could be a bad father as some sort of justification to say, hey, look, women should go get injected. I mean, the kid has to make that determination because, it's parenting. But I get it. This just goes to show you that a lot of women ain't really religious, because I think if they were, then, I mean, they would keep it in the confines of procreating the spiritual way. But this is the state of the world, and this is what you're gonna get. A lot of women, when they talk about, oh, we don't need no man, maybe this is something that kind of amplifies that.
I think it's just sadder for women because it's like you got that biological clock that's always ticking, and then it's like your eggs will dry up eventually. You won't be able to have a healthy pregnancy at a certain amount of time. So it's like she could be in that space where I think she's close to she's 40, and she's like that's a hard age to have a child, and she probably felt like my time is running up. I ain't found no husband yet. Don't nobody want me. I want to be a mom though. Like she got one life. She want to be a mom. She don't want to go out not having a kid.